Welcome to Instablogs Global Report. This is Shivanjali with new updates and citizen voices from all over the world. The stories for the day are: indigenous Guatemalans repressed by agribusiness firms. Nepal confronts severe food shortages. Lebanese society facing demographic problems. And government's inaction allows thriving sex tourism in South Korea. Rights Action Group in Guatemala is staunchly opposing agro-fuel expansion, blamed for causing human rights abuse and severe environmental destruction. CJ Adam Amin reports on this disturbing development from Guatemala.
This is Adam Amin, citizen journalist reporting from Guatemala for Instablogs. Rights Action calls for protests against Inter-American Development Bank policies that fund agro-fuel monoculture, which are unsustainable and make climate change considerably worse. Agro-fuel expansion in Guatemala is linked to human rights abuses, to indigenous people's loss of their land and their rights, and to serious environmental destruction. One of the sugar ethanol companies in Guatemala is the agribusiness firm Ingenio Guadalupe. For the past 3 years, it has been deforesting large areas of land and planting sugarcane ethanol in an area known as Finca Los Recuerdos. Indigenous farmers are strongly opposed to the invasion of their territory and the environmental destruction this causes. These events are emblematic of what is happening across Guatemala, where the government acts in complicity with large landholders and agribusiness to illegally obtain land belonging to indigenous communities, and where violence committed by paramilitaries or even by state security forces is used to evict communities.
Nepal is confronting heavy food shortages due to fuel reduction, strikes and bad harvest. CJ Mukunda reports for Instablogs from Nepal.
This is Mukunda, citizen journalist reporting from Nepal for Instablogs.com. Nepal is facing several food crises in which hundreds of thousands will be facing severe food shortages. Efforts to get food to the most vulnerable people are being hampered by fuel shortages, strikes and bad weather. The price of rice has risen by up to 50% in a year, and the price of cooking oil has gone up 30% in 6 months. Rising food prices and destroyed harvests are hitting Nepal very hard. Many families are coping by eating less, selling their major possessions or sending their menfolk to neighboring India to find work. Nepal is not a major producer of food items, but it exports some wheat and basmati rice to China and Bangladesh. Nepal government banned the export of rice and other grains, try to control food cost and prevent crises.
Lebanon's skewed sex ratio has become a major cause of concern for its immigrant families. CJ Rasha has more on the story from Lebanon.
This is Rasha Al-Jundi, citizen journalist reporting from Lebanon for Instablogs. At birth, the sex ratio is 1.05 males per female. But at the age group 15 to 64 years, the ratio falls to 0.092 males per female. The statistics indicate two things. Firstly, male child is preferred over female child. Secondly, males immigrate to foreign lands in search for jobs. The Lebanese society is affected negatively as it is dependent upon foreign investment. Family life is really a hardship for the young brides who are left behind after being married. As it is difficult for them to get visas to travel, they just have to depend on long-distance conversations to communicate with their spouses. Immigration may enhance foreign reserves. However, life becomes more of a survival for everyone. Husbands may so become suspicious of their spouses, further worsening their social condition. The government is trying to improve the situation by creating more employment opportunities. But still, it will be some time before we can see happiness in any immigrant family.
South Korean government seems to have turned a blind eye to thriving sex tourism, including child sex despite ban on ordinary prostitution. CJ Tristan has more on this distressing trend from South Korea.
This is Tristan, citizen journalist from South Korea for Instablogs. Organized sex tours are highly advertised in many Asian countries, including South Korea, and figures sadly cross the 1 million mark in Asia alone. In some of these countries, the industry is not looked down upon, but rather as an acceptable source of income, making it a major market for tourists. Despite the facts that laws do exist to cope with this situation, the Korean government has closed brothels, organized prostitution for tourists is illegal and ordinary prostitution has been outlawed, the illegal sex industry in South Korea is still popular. Some tourists travel here for the leisure of sexual relationships, minus the commitment, in an environment with extremely lax measures to control it. However, more shocking is the fact that much of the demand is homegrown, well-known, and authorities continue to turn a blind eye to this fact. This is a distinct problem for South Korea, which is considered one of the wealthiest and most developed countries in Asia. It also represents a vast failure for South Korea to uphold its domestic responsibilities and is a stain on its reputation.
And if you want your voice to reach millions, let Instablogs be your choice. You can contact us at cj@instablogs.com. That's all in today's show. We'll get back with more updates and more voices. Till then, it's a goodbye from the entire team of Global Report.